What does to attain Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi means? So you have to understand what Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi is. Nutta is the very top. Anuttara, it's no more, there's nothing on top of that Nuttara. In other words, the extreme top. Anuttara is the extreme top. Samya Sambuddhi. Samya is equality, without discrimination. Sambuddha, equality and purified. Buddhi means enlightenment, awakening, understanding. So to attain that means to attain in a state where you became the Buddha, where you don't have to roll into the path of reincarnation again. What is the major difference between someone who has awakened, who has got enlightenment, than someone who hasn't, who is still a sentient being? We as sentient beings, we still have to, after we die, with our karma that we created, we get into the next life. It's the next incarnation for us. Where we're going depends on what we have done now and in the past. So if you have done a lot of bad deeds in this life, for example, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, or you have done terrible, atrocious deeds, then you may go into the three vicious realms: the ghost realm, the infernal realm, and the animal realm. If you have done good deeds, of course the level of good deeds differ from person to person, then you didn't do any bad deeds. But sometimes you may do very minor bad deeds, but basically, over your lifetime, you have performed good deeds. You're a nice guy, nice woman, nice man, and you're helpful, you're considerate, you're responsible. And then with your karma, you may roll into the next life, which is in the three benevolent realms: the human's realm, Asura realm, and the heaven realm. Sentient beings in heaven. They are heavens and sentient beings. So these are the three benevolent realms and the three vicious realms. So everybody is responsible for one's destiny. It's very scientific, it's very practical. Don't blame God, or don't praise God if you have gone into the benevolent realm. Don't blame God for getting into the vicious realms, because you have picked your choice. We're always rolling into reincarnation. And if you have reached Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi, wouldn't that be great if you don't have to reincarnate? Because even if you are in the benevolent realms, you still have to die. This 6 paths of reincarnation is still in the temporal world. That means you still have to go through the cycle of life and death all the time. And when the Buddha was preaching Dharma, one day he picked up a handful of sand and he said, those who live now and reincarnate into the three vicious realms are like the sand on the land. And those who are lucky enough, or not lucky, depends on yourself, and those who reincarnate into the three benevolent realms are like the handful of sand in my hands. In other words, when you compare how many people, say a group of 100, how many people will be going to the vicious realms and how many people will be going to the benevolent realms? A lot will be going down to the vicious realms. Only maybe a handful will be going to the benevolent realms. How come? Because we always have done bad deeds, but we don't know about it. You may have committed sexual misconduct, you may have committed stealing and lying and killing, and you don't even know about it. To put it very simply, to attain Anuttara Samya Sambuddhi is you're not reincarnating again. you're in another state where there's eternity. That is one eternity, no more reincarnation. If that is, the next question, if that is reincarnation, how come we do not remember our previous life? So I don't believe reincarnation. Wow, it's related to that question. Yeah. So how come I don't remember my previous life? If I should remember my previous life? And let me ask you, do you remember what happened to you when you were 5 years old? When you were 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old? You may remember the things that happened to you when you were 6 or 7. Do you remember what happened to you when you were 4-year-old, 3-year-old? You can't even remember these your past experiences when you were 3, 4-year-old. How could you remember your previous life's experiences, which is so long ago? Are you going to question, how come I can't remember all these past experiences when I was 3-year-old? Are you going to kick yourself for that? Are you going to ask God or anybody, and you put them a question and say, how come I can't remember my past experiences in my previous life, not my previous life, my present life when I was 3-year-old? That happens to everybody. I don't remember what happened to me when I was 3-year-old. Yes?
It's important to note, too, that some people do remember.
Yes. That's my next... You mentioned it. That's good. And you remind me. Some people do remember. Oh, lots of people remember their previous life when they were young. And, that happened. As I said, scientifically, there are more than a few thousand cases, especially cases conducted by Ian Stevenson. Is it Ian Stevenson? Yeah. Who spent 40 years in studying reincarnations. And he actually went to different countries to study cases and accumulated records, a lot of records regarding reincarnation. So you should Google into it and get more information. And if you think that that's still not a good answer, I have to see to believe it. I have to hear to believe it. And I'm asking you, how do you believe in something? How do you get to believe in something? When I believe in something, you may say, I have to see it with my eyes. I have to hear it with my ears. I have to taste it with my tongue. I have to smell it with my nose. In other words, I have to actually experience this through my senses. If my senses can contact them, I believe them. Some people are like that. I haven't seen God. I haven't seen Buddha. How can you make me believe in Buddha? I haven't seen reincarnation. How can you make me believe in reincarnation? But let's talk about how do you believe in something. When you believe in something, I think generally there are 3 ways to believe in something. One is by actual interaction of your senses to the environment. In other words, I'm looking at Lee, and I believe Lee is there. I can't say, I'm looking at Lee, you're not there. You're not there, you're somewhere. But my senses have actually interacted with the environment, and I believe it. This is the flowers. I touched it. This is the food. I believe that I'm eating food. So senses interact with the environment at the present moment. Not regarding the past, because you try to remember what you experienced in the past, you may have forgotten some facts. So, but actually right now, I actually experience it. So that's from interaction now at the present moment of my senses to the environment. The second is through sayings of previous saints and people I believe in. They told me. My dad told me that I have a great-grandfather. I haven't seen my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather already died when I was born. I haven't seen him with my eyes. I haven't listened to my great-grandfather's talk. I haven't experienced it through my actual senses. But I believe my dad, because he wouldn't lie to me that I have a great-grandfather. And also by postulation, I know I have a father. My father must have a father. And my father must have his father. So I deduce from it by deduction, a priori knowledge. So you don't necessarily have to see something to believe it. You have to use your a priori knowledge to deduce from it. And based on sayings of saints, of people I believe in. And the Buddha told me all these. I believe in the Buddha. Not just in the Buddha, I believe in Confucius. I believe in Jesus, for example. Another example. I believe in Mother Teresa, another example. I believe them. So you base on belief, not necessarily through your actual senses interaction. So I believe in the Buddha because the Buddha told me that, we have reincarnation. All this is happening like that. And the third is by deduction and induction, by experiences, by actual analysis, postulation of the mind. My point is, you don't necessarily have to interact with your actual senses to believe in it, because our senses are very limited. As I said, dog can hear a sound 2 miles away. We can't. Our senses are not trustworthy. Our ears are not as sharp as the dog's ears. An eagle can see a grain of rice maybe 2 miles away from the air. We can't. So based on all these, when you believe in something, as long as your deduction, you deduce from it, you have postulation, someone told you, some saints told you, and you think about it, you analyze it, investigate into it, it is worth believing, then you believe in it. And sometimes your analysis and postulation may be wrong. And when it is wrong, then you make corrections. It's just like when I see from a distant mountain that there's a smoke. And by deduction, I know that something is on fire in the mountain. There's no smoke without fire, so something is on fire. I don't necessarily have to be in the forest, in the mountain over there. We are wondering when the cooking classes are going to start so that we can learn to make some of this delicious food. Right now, the kitchen has just been completed, and we're on a trial period as to how the kitchen works. The hood, the ventilation, and all that. We have to wait till the final approval, then the kitchen is complete. And also, there's a lot of planning need to be done. It's easier to say, I will be a participant, you organize this for me. Why don't you be the organizer, as I said? You come, maybe you organize a team. There's a certain aspects that your team should be discussing about. First, who's going to buy the food to do the cooking class? A lot of food is required. Who's going to pay for the food? Who is responsible for buying it? What time should we start on it? How many people will be joining? Now, if we pull the fund together to buy those, how much should we charge? And is there any dedication as to the participation? Or you come on one day and you don't come on the other day, and one day we'll give lectures on doing certain things and a certain recipe, and recipe is broken into 2 sessions. You came in the first session and didn't come on the second sessions, then you're not supporting the cooking class. There's so many management to talk about. And also what time of the day, because when we're cooking in the afternoon, when we're cooking, then people will have to cook for other devotees, then we can spend the time in doing it. And what kind of food we should put in our recipes, and we're learning recipes. All these needs planning. And can you come up with a planning proposal as to how to do it, or not just asking questions? When can you organize this for me, Reverend? I don't know. When can you make the suggestions? When can you organize a menu, first of all? Or when can you organize, how many people will be joining, and should we charge a fee? How much we charge? What time? All these we have to talk about it. Because when we're a student, we are used to just taking a course. We don't know how much is being prepared, how much management and administration is required to run a school. To run a school, you go to Quantum College. They have a whole team of people in administrative sections to run the school. And you as a student, you just come. But I pay a seminar. I pay $500, and I expect to have all these. I learn all these things. But somebody organize it for you. But here we have to do it all by ourselves. And given the lack of staff, we can't afford to assign some staff to plan the cooking class and collection of recipe information for you, and making a survey as to what kind of food you like to learn to cook. Now, if we want to teach people to cook spaghetti, you may say, I don't like spaghetti, I like pizza. So are you going to prepare pizza? I like French food. I like Korean fondue. Or how about sushi? So many of them. Well, we will one day organize the class. But right now, we lack of people. And Ming is already complaining for overburden of work. And if he sees this question, he would yell at anyone who's asking the question. He has a lot of work to do. Because we have a lot of, like tomorrow, we may have about 150 people coming in here, and at lunchtime he has to cook 150 people, so there's a lot of preparation. And from 1 o'clock, from 12:30 or 11:30, he has to cook for the people, for the sit-in people who are sitting in there. And then he has to buy food, he has to clean it. Every Monday and Tuesday, he has to take the filters down and clean off the filter. It takes 2 days to clean the hood. A lot of work. And we need volunteers. Volunteers to help in the cleaning, in the bleaching of the dirty metalware, scrubbing the floor. And maybe we should organize a course in how to scrub the floor. I guess nobody will be participating in that. Well, we will organize the course, but not now, maybe a little later.
I have a strong sense of knowing, an inner knowing. I cannot explain it. It's just what I know.
Yeah.
And that's to the response of how, I can't see it. Well, on the other side of that question is, how about for me?
Yeah.
I have an inner knowing
that you were Mr. So-and-so in your previous life.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah, of course, yes, yeah. Oh, many people have that kind of feeling.
Yes.
When I remember when I traveled to Thailand. I was a tour. Sorry to interrupt you. Are you gonna? I was many years ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago. I traveled to Thailand, and I went into a heritage house in which they earmarked that they allocate that for the tourists to visit, and an ancient palace of wooden shacks and all that, and a lot of photographs hang on the wall of the royal family and of servants and all members working in that little palace. And I felt I knew that place. I felt as if I was there before. And I feel coming home. Very strange feeling. As a royal family, I may be a servant in there, but I don't know. But I just feel that I have been there before. For sure, I've been there. Do you have that kind of feeling? You went to the place, you haven't been there, you feel that you've been there before. That is it, yes. Some people were born with certain talent. They haven't learned it before. And they know. Some people, some babies, maybe 5 or 6 year old, you put them on a piano, after listening to the music for a while, they will be able to play it. That happened in many cases. They remembered from the previous life of the notes of how to play. Probably you were someone before that you know about. And sometimes I met a lot of people in here. Sometimes I met a Caucasian and I talked to him, and I felt that he or she was Asian before. Somehow, yeah. So that happened. Yes?
Just a question about reincarnation. So would I expect that my past life is going to have an influence on my reincarnation into my next life?
You mean your past life? My past life have.
Or is it just my present life?
No, your past life would influence your present life.
Yes.
I'm sure Lee can answer the questions. Yeah, would the past life influence this? The past karma influence this now?
Definitely.
Definitely. In what way? Can you maybe elaborate so that we understand?
Einstein said energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
Yeah.
In every life, we make an energy. And that energy resides in what we call the alaya consciousness.
Yes.
And that energy waits for the right conditions.
Yeah.
And when the right mother, father, and all circumstances arrive.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yes, good answer. Yes. Sometimes you have certain personality. That personality has been built up not in the present life, it's because of previous life. And some people are particularly considerate or very generous. Some people they didn't have to learn from their parents. They gave out as a baby or a child, they gave out toys to neighbors, gave out toys to fellow playmates. But some are really stingy. They don't want you to touch the ball and the play toys. And nobody taught them. Some are very generous and some are very stingy. And some have very bad temper. And some have very high level of endurances. Some people are poor. Some people were born into rich family because they have done a lot of good causes that make them born into that rich family, and they have also some cultivate a lot of bad causes for being put into a poor family. You work out your own destiny. Some people were born healthy, and some people were born sick. They were born with certain sickness that they carry through from previous life. So your present life is actually a reflection of what you have done in your previous life. So if you want to know what kind of causes you cultivate in your previous life, look at yourself. I'm poor. I'm always sick. I couldn't get along with my husband. I'm planning for a divorce. My children, they don't like me and I don't like them. And what am I going to do? I don't like life. I'm unhappy. There must be reasons. You must have done something in the past. Yeah? I saw a hand raised in there. Yes?
I have a feeling I would like to get your comment on that in this subject about the reincarnation. I don't feel that I am an individual being that is getting reincarnated inside myself or whatever so-called me in this subject and getting reincarnated. I believe that I feel that when I am just evolving and I'm going back to the ocean of the consciousness, and what comes from there, it connects me to the rest of the universe. It connects me to the Lee, to you, to rest of the people. And I'm not expecting that again another me is coming out like a flower, like a tree. You know, when the flower is dying, another flower is coming. It could be in different form, different shape, two flowers. So I have that feeling that the oneness and the connectivity. So like when the leaf falling on the ground and then it's becoming this part of the soil, and that soil is helping another tree is coming. I see myself in this form, not in that it's me and again me and again me.
Yeah, there's two aspects to look at what you've been talking about. It's just like when we look at an ocean, when the wind blows, the seawater comes up as wave. The wavy aspect, a wave has been created. That wave is very naughty. That wave has a lot of ignorance. That wave is destroying others. So that is the wave. But the wave is nothing than the ocean. He returns back to the ocean. He's from the ocean. He returns back to the ocean. Every now and then returns back to the ocean. There's a oneness with the ocean. He is separated as a wave, but he's also oneness with the ocean. But when the wind subsides, he returns back to the ocean. He's oneness with the seawater again. The nature he returns to nature. But when we have not awakened, we are a wave. We're a wave when we're not awakened. When we're awakened, we get back to nature. Actually, even if when you have not awakened, you still are oneness to the wave, to the seawater, to the ocean. You're not separated from it. But then you are separated from it when you're not enlightened. So there's two sides of the same coin. It's right that you return to the oneness, but right now you're not. Because you still have afflictions. You still have the jealousy, the hatred, the depression, and all that. You're a wave. You're being affected by the environment. That makes you become that wave. And when you return to the sea, you're oneness with the sea. You're not different. Yes?
What is the difference between reincarnation and rebirth?
Reincarnation is a process of going from one realm to another. That your life is going from one realm to the other in a cycle. Rebirth is you are getting into that realm and be born again. More or less the same meaning. You're reborn into another realm. Now you're Jeanette, for example. Next life you're reborn into Jack. You're reborn but in the same realm. But you may be reborn as an animal. We don't know. We may be reborn as a guardian angel in heaven, as you're being reborn. But that process is the reincarnation process.
What is water? It's our air. It is us. It is the very ocean that you speak of.
What is water?
Yeah.
We can say, if the water is at one purity, you are anuttara samya sambuddhi. You are at a state where it's all purity, no mental afflictions, no hatred, no love, no greediness, no ignorance. Just purity with prajna, the wisdom. And what else? What other language can we use? We can throw in a lot of languages to describe that, but still, there's just words. We have to experience it to say it. It's just like when you drink that cup of water, and I ask you, is it cold? Yeah, it's cold. Or is it warm? Yeah, it's warm. I said, how warm? How cold? I don't know. You know, because you taste it. You can only tell me, oh, it's warm, or it's cold. It's not cold like ice. Then you give something like ice. Or it's cold at, I don't know, it's pretty cold. But I don't know how cold it is. You know because you experience it. Even if I hear about the coldness of it, then I can only understand through language, and language is limited. So as far as the real oneness is concerned, the real water is concerned, only when you reach at the level when you're enlightened, you know about it. The Buddha has reached that level, and he's going to communicate, and he communicated to us in a language that we understand. But it's just language. Language is limited. So if I describe the fragrance of a rose to you, what is that fragrance? I said, that is quite sweet, like morning dew. Like the sweetness is like you taste some sugar, and that sugar is not very sweet. Well, how can you describe the fragrance of a rose? If you consult a dictionary and pull out all those descriptive words that describe fragrance, I still don't know. I can only understand it from the language point of view. And language is limited. Only you yourself understand. You can communicate to me. So that's why the Buddha said, I already attained anuttara samya sambuddhi. I already have got prajna. I already got the dharagata. I already have attained to a level that is called suchness. At that level is one purity. No more life and death, no more hatred, no more love. It's not in the world of duality. It's not in the world of discrimination. It's in the world of, let me say, eternity. In this world of extreme happiness. It's in the world of bliss. What other languages I can use? I can pull them out to you and throw it to you. That is what it is. Yes?
Form exists in three forms. The manifest exists in three forms: a solid, a gas, or a liquid.
Yeah.
Water is a liquid.
Yeah.
It has special qualities. Lao Tzu used water a lot in the Tao Te Ching as an example. So the softest wears down the hardest.
Yeah.
Give water enough time, it will wear down a diamond. It levels the mountains.
Yeah.
It creates gorges in the earth. The softest overcomes the hardest.
Mm.
And the beautiful thing about water is it seeks the lowest place.
Yeah.
It finds contentment there. And we are
Yeah.
encouraged to be the same like water.
Mm.
Yeah. Dirty or clean,
Mm.
it's comforting with it. It rests with
Yeah, that's, the Lao Tzu said the most meritorious is water, for example. How meritorious is, how good water is. Water is always getting down its lowest level. It's always flowing down with humbleness. Water can float a boat, but sometimes it can sink a boat. But water can wear out an iron dam. So he can only use words to describe it. But as far as the power of water, you can only experience it. That oneness, that purity, that water, you have to experience it yourself. And sometimes you may have a glimpse of it during meditation, when you are all pure without mental afflictions. When you're meditating, you don't have any more thought. No thought of ignorance, depression, jealousy, hatred. All of a sudden, you purify your mind, no thought, all purity. You may have a glimpse of it. Oh, it's that extreme bliss. I feel joy. I have a rapture of joy. Many people have that. Many people have that rupture of joy for a short time. Oh, it's so joyful. I feel as if I'm in eternity. I feel as if I don't even want to sell it for $1 million of what I've got now. I'm so joyful. I don't know where the joy comes from. I can't tell you how joyful that it is. It's just joy. I will sell it to you for $1 billion. So that's how I described it. I won't even sell it to you for $1 billion. I'm poor, but I experience some rapture of joy that I won't sell it for $1 billion. He has that glimpse of that water. He has a glimpse of that oneness. But if you keep on meditating, you'll get that. That glimpse, you have a glimpse of it, but if you have a continuity of it, that's enlightenment. No interruption, a continuity of that oneness, continuity of that purity, that's enlightenment. That is anuttara samya sambuddhi. We are just like a mirror with a lot of dust and dirt. The reflectability is there. When all the dust and dirt is removed, that oneness of reflectability reflects all the images. But the fact that it's covered with dust and dirt, the reflectability does not even been reduced a bit, it's just been hidden. It's just been hidden, even it's covered with dust and dirt. You can't say, oh, there's no reflectability in the mirror. Yes, there is, but it's just been covered. But when you remove the dust and dirt, it comes out. So don't ask me, what is that reflectability? I said, continue to rub, continue to remove the impurities. If you continue to remove, the Buddha said, continue to remove the impurities, you can see it yourself. I don't have to tell you. You can see it yourself. And only when you see it yourself, you know. I can't know it. Nobody can know it for you. Nobody can experience it for you. The Buddha has experienced it, and he has described to us. But description is just a description. We have to experience it ourselves. It's just like walk that path of enlightenment. You have to put the stride out one step after another. You have to walk it yourself. You can't just talk about it. It's just like when you haven't been to Ottawa. You haven't been there in your life. And I said, Ottawa is a nice place. It has all these things and all these tourist attractions, all these things. I can only describe it to you. But in your mind, that's just a description of Ottawa. You will only know Ottawa when you actually go in there. Assuming Ottawa is a state of enlightenment. I said, go, that's where you go. Walk that path, you'll be there. One step. But the most important is, you got to begin, that beginning step is very important. You got to start walking. When you walk into Ottawa, I don't have to describe it to you. You know it. All the description I have, it's just words of Ottawa. So we're on our way to enlightenment. We're on our way. It's just we have to take those steps, one step on another, and walk consistently. Don't divert. Don't take the wrong path. Some people have taken the wrong path into depression, killing, sexual misconduct, stealing, lying, wars, genocide, rape, lots of diversions. But if you walk that path of purity, one day you'll be there. The destination is waiting for you. The destination has not decreased a bit, has not increased a bit, whether you walk it or not. That nature has not decreased, that nature has not increased. It's oneness. But what you require is those steps to bring you there. Morality, meditation, and wisdom. These are the things on your knapsack that you need to feed yourself on. You go hungry. So you got precepts in there, you got wisdom in there. All these will feed you so that you walk the path.